Hello there and welcome to this week's edition of Craze Critique, in which I will be attempting to do another quick take film review of the film I saw at the cinema only last night in this occasion, but we'll see how the length of the video goes, to what extent this is indeed a quick take. So the film in question that I went to see was, it should be of no surprise to anybody this week, it was Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Now, I'm going to step my stall out quite firmly before I start doing a review of this film in regards to what I thought about particularly the last two sort of recent Star Wars entries, and also just my general demeanour within the fan community and things like that. So I'm not an ultra Star Wars fan. I like particular films, I like even particular scenes in particular films, but I am not immune to criticism of something if it deserves a criticism, put it that way. So I went to see The Force Awakens, obviously 2 years ago, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't come away thinking, that was a really great film. I came away thinking, that's a really good nostalgic piece of a film. I like particular performances, and I like particular moments. But I didn't come away thinking, I want to watch that over and over again. I recently rewatched it last week, and I think I was quite harsh on the film, to be honest. And I actually felt more emotion the second time round, particularly with particular scenes. And I think actually J.J. Abrams did an even better job than I initially gave him credit for. So I just want to set that out from the beginning. I saw obviously Rogue One last year, and I thought the second half of that film was truly spectacular as a blockbuster spectacle. The first half was so-so, but I thought that was still a decent entry into the Star Wars universe. Now we come here to The Last Jedi. Now, it's an interesting one, this, because there's been a lot already written, even though it's only released midweek last week, wasn't it, Wednesday, Thursday, regarding the reception of, particularly of the Star Wars community fans. Now, like I say, I am not within that community. I don't know the ins and outs of the lore and canon, as you will, regarding characters and things like that. So I'm coming at this purely from, how does this work as a film? How do these characters evolve in this film, and does it make any kind of sense? And I can tell you from my first opinions of seeing that film, the moment those lights came up, I did a silent little clap, almost to the film itself, because I thought it was a truly great film. And there are many positives from my point of view to mention in regards of this film. Firstly, and I've briefly already mentioned it, the main thing about it is characters who are considered wholeheartedly good or heroic are shown to make bad decisions. My word, is that important? That is important in engaging an audience, and my word, did it engage me for the 150-minute film length, of which I felt no length at all. That was a 2.5-hour film, was it? Doesn't matter. Every single scene kept me engaged throughout the film. Like as I said there, the story structure is pretty much near perfect in terms of the story it's telling, with almost every scene serving a point and has significant character development involved in them. It's funny when it needs to be, it's emotional when it needs to be. In particular, there's a scene with Finn in the finale that exemplifies this, and also a mid-scene film with Luke and a tree, which was just a truly wonderful note and poignant moment in the film. The imagery is stylish, it is a true visual spectacle, and like I just said previously, I'm quite amazed to hear of the backlash in regards to the fan community against the film, particularly the Star Wars fan community. But I believe in terms of how this film has progressed since The Force Awakens and how the characters have grown and developed throughout this one, says to me that not only that has Rian Johnson done a great job of this of the general blockbuster spectacle genre that is required, but actually gives his audience a bit of credit in displaying decisions and actions that aren't as black and white as we often see and are often served up in the good versus evil trope in these sort of films. Marvel, I'm looking at you. I am struggling for criticisms right now at this point in terms of just an overall film experience. But I am pretty fresh off it. But I was mightily impressed with what I saw. So like I said, I initially came out from The Force Awakens going, that was entertaining enough, but I didn't take much away from it as a film experience. Whereas here, for me, with The Last Jedi, not only did it deliver on actually expanding already, like I said, in terms of character development, it made you question those characters to a degree that was believable in my point of view. Yeah. So, from what I understand, the main ire of the fans is that it doesn't answer certain questions that Force Awakens raised. And from what I've read, kind of pretty much Ryan Johnson said, well, those questions don't really matter in terms of the actual overall meaning of the individuals. Giving that as a reason for them being this or that is not important. It doesn't make them who they are, which I completely appreciate as somebody who wants an interesting take on characters, not having that as the defining thing, just because that is how they are. That made no sense, so apologies about that. But I really, really enjoyed this film, and like I say, I am not a massive, massive Star Wars head. Like I said, there's some visuals in it that were quite amazing. Some brilliantly spectacular moments where I gasped in the cinema. There was an attack of a ship on another ship at the end that was just wow. And there was, like I say, there's a mid-film scene regarding Luke and a tree that is not only funny, but it's touching and shows that even now at this point of this character's, Luke Skywalker's journey, he is a character still learning and wow, and still growing. Remember, this is a character who never finished his Jedi training, if you will. We obviously don't know in the context of this film universe whether he did or not, but on screen he hasn't. So, you know what? He might have needed a bit of help there, and he certainly did. So, I think the cast is just great generally as well. John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Daisy Ridley are all on form again. Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill do some great returning roles again. The visuals are amazing, and it's been a long time since I've said this because I got so used to sort of those sort of space battle living, but we proper get some space battles in this film, and my word, are they taking note of what has been, but also adding something new. There's, like I say, that particular scene at the end, towards the end of the film, where a ship almost attacks another ship, or he does attack another ship. It felt a little bit of the Abrams touch, and that is exactly why, and maybe to a degree, he was brought in to obviously do Force Awakens. And Ryan Johnson, I think he's done a fabulous work on the script because those characters kept me engaged throughout. At no point was I completely sure of what I was witnessing from these individuals, and therefore it put you on edge as an audience. And maybe that is also why it's got such a mixed reaction, because people were put on edge about what was about to happen. Guess what? That's storytelling, from my point of view. That's development. Everything, like as I said, is not black and white. Things that are murky sometimes. There's certain points it makes regarding things to do with government as well, and actually, probably the main one is the business of war. And I'm not saying it nails every single point, but you get the gist of exactly what they're going for, and you go, okay. You're not saying whether this is good or bad, you're just saying this is how it is. And I really, really like that. And yeah, it's leaving it up to the audience. And again, maybe that's why the audience, a particular fan bit, has not took so much to this film. Because it's not presenting things as clear-cut as they've always been. But I would still say, even in those older films, there's things in Luke Skywalker's character that are relevant here, and particularly to his family lineage that come up here again. So I can't see quite why there's been such a massive, and it is quite a significant one, because this is what I was reading is on Rotten Tomatoes, this has got the worst fan rating of all the Star Wars films. That is ludicrous. That is truly ludicrous. And that's just not me being a funny critic, even though I'm not a critic. But it's someone who is observing something that is willing to change and evolve and try something new, and guess what? It shouldn't be criticised for it, because we never get anything new otherwise. So I really enjoyed The Last Jedi. Visuals are amazing, some poignant moments, it has some interesting things to say, its characters go in some interesting directions, and I just thought it was, and when it was funny, in my word, was it funny, and was it heartwarming at certain moments as well. I really did love this film, and I'm going to be amazed if when I go through my list at the end of this year, that it is not a significant contender, not only to be on the list, but possibly be my best blockbuster film of the year. So, there we go. Star Wars The Last Jedi. This is, in my opinion, an extremely entertaining and great film. You don't need me to tell you to go see it. It's there. Go see it. I've just done it though. So, there we go. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. And I'm intrigued to exactly where this franchise is going now. And it's got me re-engaged. So, like, I'm completely happy where I stand within this cinematic landscape. There we go. That was my 10 minutes or so quick take on Star Wars The Last Jedi. And I do hope you've enjoyed my opinions on it. You might not have done if you're a massive Star Wars fan, but I think it has some interesting developments in this film, and I think it's a fascinating film. So, yeah. Thank you for watching this episode of Chris Creek. I will be in the next few weeks doing a top 5 worst films of the year list, and I'll also be doing a top 10 best films of the year. Should I say top 10 favourite films of the year? Put a bit of context on it. So, please do subscribe to me. Those videos will be coming very soon, in the next 2 weeks or so. And I do hope to see and speak to you very soon again. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.